Hey, what's going on, you guys? ShinKensou here. Welcome back to the channel. So today's video is something a little different. So I wanted to take a proactive approach in helping people train their skills for Guilty Gear Strive. The inspiration for this comes from, as you guys know, I play a lot of Apex Legends. While that game doesn't necessarily have the best training mode, there are other applications in which that you can download that can help, improve your aim, such as Kovacs or Aim Labs. The notion here is that there is pre-built scenarios that can teach you concepts and things to help you improve your aim, to help you improve your time to kill, all kinds of things for first-person shooters, not just Apex Legends. Guilty Gear Strive's mission mode pretty much has a lot of things that are kind of similar to that. So I figured, what better way than to give you guys something from the mission mode? And I know you're probably wondering why the mission mode and not training mode. Well, I believe that the mission mode is great, and using the mission mode in conjunction with training mode is an excellent combo, simply because the mission mode doesn't actually allow you to always use your favorite character to, test out these situations. So I believe that having a combination of both the mission mode and the training mode is a great foundation in improving at the game. Now, moving forward, I would highly encourage you guys, before watching this tutorial, is to essentially play through Castle Area 1 and the general tutorial if you're brand new to Guilty Gear, as I believe that going through those two things first will make this tutorial make way more sense, and I think you will have a better grasp on what to do with these concepts. I do hope that you guys find this educational, and I hope that you learned something. So let's begin. So we're going to highlight each area in which you need to go through to get the proper training. So we're going to start out here with the forest area, and we're going to start with the first mission here, which is Punish Whiffed Attacks. This mission is good for teaching you general whiff punishment. Now, I know that this tutorial does show you how to do this with Soul, but this concept is like that for pretty much every character in the game. To execute this in training mode, which I think this is a very good starting point, is to essentially go in the training room, pick the character of your choice, and make sure you pick Kai. And once you get into the training room, make sure that you go into your options and go to the controller config and set your record and playback buttons for this part of the tutorial. So the reason for this is you need to be able to record an action that you can then later play back, so you can practice training on certain skills within the game. We're going to keep this in mind because we're going to need this for later on as well. So in this instance, we're going to record Kai pressing the heavy slash button. From here, what we want to do is to prime it, and once you press the record button one time, you will now be able to take control over Kai or any of these second characters in which you choose here in training mode. Now, to continue along with this tutorial here, what we want to do is to press the record button once, as I said before, and then press it a second time in order to actually record the action. Now, what we want to do is we want to give ourselves a timing mechanism. So the way we want to get this to work right is, once we press the record button a second time, what we want to do is press the standing punch button twice and then heavy slash. And then once you're done, press the record button again to stop the recording. The reason for pressing the two punches is basically to allow yourself time to prepare yourself before you go for the whiff punishment or whatever action in which you're trying to train against. So essentially it's like 1, 2, okay, boom. Whatever number of whiff attacks, light attacks in particular, you want to go for, totally fine. I recommend 2 to 3. This way you can prepare yourself, give yourself the proper spacing you may need. From that point, you're just going to press the playback button, position yourself correctly, and you would count the proper amount of whiffed attacks and then look for the attack and try to whiff punish it. This is a very simple way of practicing whiff punishment, because if you can understand whiff punishment, then it becomes a little bit easier in terms of like punishing your opponent when they make a big whiff or they make a big mistake. This could be the difference between you winning and losing a match. So the next mission on our list is Stop the Opponent's Dash. You ever have someone running on you all kinds of crazy and just hitting all kinds of buttons? Well, This is a very good concept for you to learn in order to halt your opponent's approach and make them think twice before they attack you from that range. This concept works well for pretty much every character in the game. There's no character in which this doesn't work for. Be sure to practice this in training mode with the record and playback features based on what you see here. Next mission is ground to air. This mission is great for teaching you the general concepts of anti-airing with Guilty Gear's universal anti-air forward punch. This is a very unique situation for pretty much everyone in the cast, as some forward punches are actually slower than others. So be sure to, once again, use the record and playback features in training mode to recreate this scenario so you can practice anti-airing with your character with this attack. Air to airs. Air to air is another form of anti-airing your opponent if you want to change your anti-air approach. This is a really good technique to learn even as a beginner. And the reason for this is a lot of combat in Guilty Gear does start from the air. So it's very important to know how to, just like on the ground, stop your opponent's running attacks. This is the same way you want to treat it also in the air. So essentially, stop the opponent's approach and the air to airs are similarly the exact same concept, just one's on the ground and the other's in the air. Please be sure to use the training mode playback and recording features so that you can practice this with your character. Next up, combo special cancel. The combo special cancel mission, I believe, is really more so aimed at the beginners who are not really good at, special canceling their combos or knowing exactly what to special cancel into. The combos that they give you here are very simple and they're pretty good to teach you how to punish your opponent. Feel free to explore the other characters' basic combos here to get a feel for what character you may like to use as well. Because sometimes when we play training mode, we may not know if we really like the character or not, so sometimes it does feel good to kind of test out their combos and see what they're capable of. Now we're going to move on from the forest area to the main ship. The very first one here on the main ship is what I believe to be one of the absolute most important parts of Guilty Gear, and it is dash and block. The reason why this mission in particular, in my honest opinion, is the most important mission is because dash into block is a new thing to Guilty Gear Strive. And I believe it's super important to know how to utilize properly as a skill in this game. In older titles, you would have to actually use faultless defense to actually block during your run cycle. In Guilty Gear Strive, you are allowed to block no matter what in your run cycle. As long as you run and you press back and hold back or down back, you'll be able to actually run and block. As an addendum to this, despite the inclusion of dash blocking in Strive, I would still highly encourage that you learn to utilize faultless defense to stop your run cycles. The reason being for this is that you give yourself a lot more control over your character, and it does really well for you in terms of baiting out your opponent's attacks and maybe forcing a whiff and allowing you an advantage in your games. Air dash cancel. The air dash cancel mission is an advanced version of the air to air, as it teaches you how to use an air to air to get a confirm as you attempt to halt your opponents from this type of approach. Be sure to experiment in training mode with the record and playback features with your character of choice. Next up is the Roman cancel tutorials. All the Roman cancel tutorials have great information on them, so be sure to sit through them all, as the information is extremely valuable. Next up, we're going to move over to the Wasteland, and we're going to focus on one particular mission, and that is the combo Roman cancel. Roman canceling is one of the core elements to pressure and combos in Guilty Gear in general. The combo recipes detailed here are actually fairly good to get your feet wet with your character of choice, so be sure to experiment. Lastly, we're going to move over to the Hell area, and we're going to go towards the combo wall break combo. The wall is a very important part of Guilty Gear Strive, and knowing how to land combos at this position is critical to your game. The combo recipes provided here are a fairly decent start to understanding the intricacies of the wall mechanics. The combos here are fairly solid, so it would be good to memorize these for live matches when the opportunity arises. And that's it, you guys. I believe very strongly that these 10 missions are great for beginner players who want to hit the ground running for Guilty Gear Strive. Please note that just doing this one time is not going to be enough. You will have to build reps in order to get the muscle memory down and have the confidence that you need to play your matches correctly. I will put very heavy emphasis on the dash and block, as learning to run and FD stop and generally dash and block is a very important skill to have under your belt as a new Guilty Gear player. Also guys, don't forget to smash that like button, and don't forget to also hit the subscribe and hit the notification bell as well to stay up to date with anything and everything that's happening on this channel. Once again, you guys, I'm Kensou, signing out.